morning, and thank you for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering Ryan Poles' promise to Justin Fields, Kenny Pickett backing up Jalen Hurts, a man returns from vacation with a letter saying he's deceased, and make sure you stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into our oddities of the day. Before we start, I'd like to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. The tips and donation link is GSMCPodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it also just really helps the show. Hello, Tate. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. To fill everyone in, before this, I was talking to Faith about being stressed out, everything that's going on. Yesterday, I'm doing my meetings and then power goes out everywhere. And I'm like, holy crap. So I sent Faith a message, not knowing how long power is going to be out. Cell tower is out and things like that. And I'm like, Faith, you may be doing the show by yourself.
I was like,
So I stress Faith out as well. So
yeah. Which, I mean, I was already stressed out, so what's new? What's new?
So I made it here, didn't even miss a show. Yes. Life is good.
I'm very grateful for that.
Faith was going to have to talk all sports by herself, which is something that she's a little nervous about doing.
Yeah.
The sad thing about it is she knows this stuff. She's just a little, nervous about it.
It's easier talking to somebody else. It's sitting here and basically talking to myself about stuff that I'm not fully versed in. That just makes me nervous.
You're not just talking to me, you're talking to everyone.
I know, but
That's part of it. You have a live community out there, friends. These are friends and family.
Friends and family.
And you have more friends and family than most. You have actual family members that listen.
Yeah.
A lot of my family don't even know what I do for a living. I've been doing this for, a decade plus.
Yeah, over 10 years, right?
And people are kind of like, what exactly is a podcast? How's that podcast thing?
Basically.
How's that podcast thing you're doing? It's like that little hobby. Like
hobby.
Like I'm in a basement with a glue gun and some yarn, and
gosh.
People do not even remotely. If you're like 50 plus, there's so many 50 plus year olds that have no clue. They think you're in the basement with like a transistor radio and some aluminum foil down there. It still shocks me that people don't understand what a podcast is.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean,
no, it's not. No, it's not. For certain people that are of the older demographic, if it's not television and radio, it's not real.
But it is radio. It's basically radio. It's just on an app.
Like, you don't understand how many people I've had conversations with that are of the older era, and they cannot wrap their head around streaming or podcasts. That's just so foreign to them. Especially when I go back home and I talk to some people that are older, and they still listen to the AM, FM radio, and cable television is kind of new.
Sometimes I still listen to FM radio, so.
Of course. As a matter of fact, I was at GSMC. I was talking to one of the new sales reps, and he's an older gentleman, and he was talking about how long he's been doing this. And he was talking about the challenges of when he was younger, he had to sell FM radio and people didn't understand it. And he had to explain and educate people on FM radio. I'm like, FM radio? Like,
it's in your car. What do you mean?
you got to teach people what FM radio is. I'm like, oh, wow. There's like Morse code. Were you doing Morse code smoke signals? What the heck was going on back then? So sorry for anyone that's older. We're not making fun of you, but it's just different when people, like, there's so many people that are older that just don't understand, like, what do you mean you have a show with, like, is that AM or FM? So, all right. So, what do you have for us today, Faith?
Alrighty, so Ryan Poles promised to do right by Justin Fields. Ryan Poles promised to do right by Justin Fields this offseason, and it appears that he has made good on that promise. According to Ian Rappaport, the Bears had several offers for Fields this offseason, but sent him to Pittsburgh because that's what Fields preferred. It's no surprise to hear that Fields wanted to join the Steelers to play behind Russell Wilson, assuming he didn't have any opportunities to start. Fields modeled his game after Wilson, so now he'll have the opportunity to learn from Wilson himself. Justin Fields commented, I would say when I was younger, like maybe 8th, 9th grade, it was more Cam Newton, but I would say these past couple of years, I've kind of turned more to a Russell Wilson type quarterback, Fields said right after the Bears drafted him in 2021. I've watched a lot of film on him. I've watched a lot of highlights on him. So I think the things that we can do on the field with both of those quarterbacks, I think we have a lot of similarities between extending plays with our legs and also having the arm talent. So I think those are a couple of guys that I kind of emulate my game after. I've always looked up to him, Fields said about Wilson later in 2021, the kind of person he is on the field and off the field. He's a great quarterback and a great person. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin told Fields that he will begin the year as Wilson's backup, but the Bears will want Fields to take over as the starter at some point next year. According to multiple reports, the 2025 sixth-round draft pick that the Bears received from Pittsburgh will turn into a 2025 fourth-rounder if Fields plays 51% of the Steelers' snaps. Even if Fields spends the whole year as a backup yet this year, there's a chance he rebuilds his image enough to compete for a starting job in 2025. That's what fellow former Bears first-round pick Mitch Trubisky did across the 2021 and 2022 season. After the Bears decided to roll with Fields, Trubisky signed on with the Bills to back up Josh Allen. One season later, the Steelers again made Trubisky their starter. So,
okay, remember yesterday we were talking about this, and already they're saying, hey, we want Russ to be our starter.
Right.
But at some point, we are going to transition to Justin Fields. And that's the reason why I was saying I kind of feel for Russ, because it's already starting to come, it's already the plan. It goes from, hey, Russ, it's going to be our guy, to, oh, we've went out and got Justin Fields.
Right.
At some point, we want to transition to Justin Fields being our quarterback. So the clock is ticking on Russell Wilson. It's already just said right here, just in this article. Now, the main point of this article is the fact that the Bears ownership group wanted to do right by Justin Fields. And that there were a few other, I'm not going to say a lot, there were a few other offers on the table, but they sent him where he wanted to go. I'm saying there's some truth to that, but it's a little, I feel like it could be some revisionist history as well. And here's the reason why. I'm going to tell you this right now. If a team came out and said, hey, we'll give you a late first round or an early second round pick for Justin Fields. And the Bears aren't going around saying, no, 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 he wants to go to Pittsburgh. We're going to take a sixth round pick.
Mm-hmm.
That is not happening. This makes me think that there were some other late round picks, maybe a fifth or something like that, where it wasn't anything major, because this could turn into as much as a fourth. And so if the picks are close, then they're like, hey, let's send him where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it still solidifies for me, there were no first, there were no second, and there were no third round picks that were available for Justin Field. Maybe a late fourth or something like that. It sounds like also that maybe the Giants kind of kicked the tires on possibly going with Justin Fields as well. Interesting how things worked out. But no, I it does show me that the Bears at least listened to Justin Fields, and that Justin Fields wanted to go and play with Russ. Um, Told me a lot of, one, he admired Cam Newton and modeled
Mm-hmm.
his game early on in the Cam Newton. But then when he got closer to the NFL, when he got to the NFL, he started watching a lot more film on Russ. That's a good move. I would love to see them take the time, let him work with Russ. Maybe Russ can kind of tweak his game, Justin Fields' game a little bit. With how dynamic these two guys are and how athletic Justin Fields is, I would love to see them even work some plays where you could have both of those guys on the field at the same time, or putting in special packages, kind of what some other teams have done. They have a unique situation here where I would love to see them really take advantage of it. And Mike Tomlins is one of those coaches that can get creative and use the weapons that he has. It's a good place for both of those guys. Unfortunately, there can only be one,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that I know, everything that I'm seeing, Russ is on borrowed time. I could also see a situation where Russ gets the first half of the season, because of the fact that in the contract, if Justin Field plays more than half of the team snaps, it goes from a sixth to a fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying the timeline is week 9. They play the first 9 weeks with Russell Wilson, and then later on in the season they switch to Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way I feel. At some point, everything in my gut tells me Russ won't finish the season as the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, unless Russ comes in and absolutely balls out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard. It's gonna be hard to ball out on a schedule where you got to play the Ravens twice.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play the Browns, who are an incredibly strong team. You're gonna have to play the Cincinnati Bengals twice, who will have Joe Burrow back. You're in a meat grinder of a division where actually you're the worst team in that division,
Mm-hmm.
and Russ will have no room for mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, 2 losses in a row, and everyone is going to want Justin Fields on the field. So that's the reason why I see this as major challenges for
Mm-hmm.
him.
Well, how do you think Justin Fields will do as a starter with the Steelers?
I was kind of talking, I was messaging back and forth with Nelson from the GSMC basketball podcast. And he's not a big believer in Justin Fields, and he does not think that Justin Fields is gonna do well. That he was not a successful quarterback in Chicago, and he really paraphrasing. Not I'm putting words. I'm just kind of paraphrasing what he was saying. Where we're messaging back and forth. That he doesn't. It doesn't sound like he really sees Justin Fields doing well in Pittsburgh either. I'm not to that level. I think he was not in a good situation in Chicago. And being in Pittsburgh, I think it's going to be a better situation where he's going to get every opportunity to succeed. But like I said before, you're in a division where it's incredibly tough. The Ravens could be the best team in the entire AFC, if not the best team in the NFL. The Browns are a top team. The Bengals are a top team. You have three teams that are Super Bowl caliber teams trying to, make the Super Bowl. The Steelers are not on that level. It's going to be tough for either Russ or Justin Fields or them both to really shine. It's going to be a tough go, in my opinion.
I'm caught up on the way you say Bengals.
Oh, why is it Bengals? What's wrong with Bengals? All right, how do you say it?
Bengals.
Bengals. I say Bengals, you say Bengals.
Tomato.
I saw you make that little smile you made there. I was like, look at you.
I've never heard someone call them the Bengals. That's
the Cincinnati Bengals. You're like the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals.
I'm a Midwest, Northeast Ohio guy, so I guess I say it that way. And
yeah, I'm a Southern girl.
Yes, so I'm fascinating there.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how Justin Fields does under Russell Wilson, and see how Russell Wilson will mentor Justin Fields and see.
I mean, the thing is, Russ is that. People give Russ a hard time, but Russ is a good guy. He's a consummate professional. Even in that horrible situation in Denver, he took the high road. He took the classy route. From everything I see, he has a good relationship with Justin Fields, and he is genuinely happy to work with Justin Fields. You can't ask for a better situation where you have a guy that's going to mentor him. I don't know if sometimes you have to take a little bit of a selfish approach. And I worry that if Russ does not take a selfish approach, it could be a bad thing for the rest of Russ's career. And could really hurt him, because if he does not shine now, they're gonna look at it and say, hey, his last years in Seattle, not so great. He didn't do well in Denver, even though you can say bad situation, but the 2 years in Denver, bad situation. Then he goes to Pittsburgh and he was benched for Justin Fields. That's the way. That's going to be the narrative around Russ, and Russ is going to could easily find himself make a wrong turn into Backupville, where he's the number 2 quarterback, not a number 1. And then, if in that case, when you're starting to think about a backup quarterback, if you're drafting a quarterback, you're not going to want a guy like Russell Wilson with a big name to be breathing down the neck of your young quarterback. So you could easily have a situation where he's like Cam Newton, where he's having a hard time finding the landing place.
Right.
So that's the thing that Russ has to really, really watch out for.
Well, hope it works out for him. I feel
That sounds so nice. I hope it's nice and they play well together.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss Kenny Pickett will be backing up Jalen Hurts. So make sure you guys stick around.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier we were discussing Justin Fields, and now we're going to be talking about Kenny Pickett, and he will be backing up Jalen Hurts. But before we do that, I just want to remind you guys to like and follow the show. We get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is GSMCPodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it also just really helps the show. I remembered to do it this time.
Very nice. You're always on point. It's just this you slipped on a banana peel yesterday.
I did. It was Monday, you know.
It was
I have
Monday.
a little bit of an excuse.
By the way, Faith, Monday, technical issues. Power goes out.
Yeah. At least it wasn't during our show.
That just hit me. It's like it's another day on a Monday where there's a major technical difficulty.
Yeah.
As I was talking about in a meeting after a show, pretty major meeting, and all the power goes out, and which then totally blew up my entire day, which then makes today a stressful day. So this is my this show is kind of like my woosah moment where I kind of mellow out a little bit, so I'm not so intense the rest of the day.
Yeah, yesterday I could definitely tell it was a Monday because yesterday I had to go do some filming and I left my tripod at home, and so I had to use a gigantic stack of books to set up my camera.
And what kind of tripod are you using? You're using it for like a video project, right? So is it a big one?
It can get pretty big, yeah. But I needed it because I was doing an interview with somebody, and thank goodness it was set in his office, and he had a bookshelf full of books, and I was like, "Listen, dude, I forgot my tripod. Can I borrow these?"
Listen, wait a minute. Listen, dude.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That is.
I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry."
Conversation ever.
I was like, "I'm so sorry. I realized that I left my tripod at home. I see that you've got some books. Can I use these books to stack up on the table so I can set my camera up? I just want to make sure that you look good. You always throw in, I want to make sure you look good." And they're like, "Yeah, do
I want to put you in the best light. So can we use some of these books to stack?" And what was the project for now?
It's
or do you not want to share?
It's hard news. I'll just leave it at that. It's a hard news story.
You know, and we're like soft.
We're light.
Here.
We're light and happy here. So,
guys, Faith does like the hard. That sounds kind of funny to say it that way. Faith.
I'm a well-versed journalist. I do it all.
Yes. And so we're kind of the more lighter hearted side
Yes.
of this
Yes.
instead of more of the edgier news stories
Hmm.
that Faith tends to
This is the
lean more
sugar.
toward.
This is the sugar that I take to help the medicine go down.
Nice. I will take that as a positive right there. We don't need to. We do enough hard news on the sports side, and we
Yeah.
do a lot of the lighter hearted stuff
Yeah.
on the non-sports side.
Yes.
So okay.
Alrighty. So, Kenny Pickett will be backing up Jalen Hurts. Quarterback Kenny Pickett is ready to move on to his future with the Philadelphia Eagles as Jalen Hurts' backup, even though his past with the Pittsburgh Steelers is still hanging around. Pickett, the Steelers' first-round draft pick in 2022, was traded to the Eagles on Friday in a pick swap following the signing of Russell Wilson. Shortly after news of a trade broke, NFL's network Tom Pelissero posted a report about why Pickett was traded. How did this go sideways? Mike Tomlin had promised Kenny Pickett he'd get a chance to compete. Pickett learned about the Russell Wilson signing on social media Sunday night. When they spoke the next morning, Tomlin told Pickett that Wilson was in the pole position and would get the first reps. So Pickett asked for a trade. Now he's an Eagle. The report from Pelissero supposedly paints Pickett in a negative light, but Pickett's reaction to Wilson's signing essentially boils down to this. He asked for a transfer after finding out he had been demoted from his job on social media, and he's not sorry about it. Pickett commented, I think the communication is what it is. It was behind closed doors. I'm confident in the way I handled it. I handled it the way I should have handled it. I'm excited to be here. It worked out so well that Philly was the place I ended up landing in. I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Pickett's split from the Steelers may have been a bit acrimonious, but he sounds very ready to move on and wipe the slate clean in Philadelphia. Just think this is a good reset. Just a chance to play on the team in that quarterback room with a couple of great guys, helping those guys out any way I can, and just be ready if my number's called somewhere down the road. Just trying to put my best foot forward and be an asset to the team, Pickett said. So, I didn't know that they didn't consult Kenny Pickett before.
There's levels to this.
They did him a little dirty.
This happens a lot. And first off, to be an NFL player, it's a tough role because, to be sitting at home, you're hanging out, man.
Yeah.
It was a rough season.
Imagine scrolling on Twitter to find out that you're being replaced at your job.
Oh, it gets worse than that, Faith. There's been times people find out, you're having a good old time, and it's like, hey, do you know you got cut? Like, you find out in the media that you're no longer employed by a team any longer. He found out that he technically, no, I look at it differently. He found out they brought in another player.
Right.
And then he finds out that from the coach that, hey, Russ is going to be in the pole position and you're going to be the backup. Well, sometimes can be that when keeping it real goes wrong. He takes the approach of, he goes there and he's upset about this, but sometimes people get into their feelings. And I feel like if you step back and look at this is a situation where Kenny Pickett got into his feelings. He's like, I want to be traded because I'm no longer going to be the starter in Pittsburgh. So Russ is traded there on a 1-year deal, meaning that
he may not be there next year.
Yeah, he may not be there next year.
Yeah.
They drafted you.
Yeah.
You're obvious. They drafted you. They've given you every opportunity to be the starter.
Right.
Russ is going to get the first reps, but you still have a chance here.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, I want to be traded so I can be a backup in Philadelphia to Jalen Hurts, who is locked in with a long-term contract.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is the future of the Philadelphia Eagles, and there is no plans whatsoever to say, hey, Jalen, we're gonna bench you for Kenny Pickett. Where in Pittsburgh, you actually have a chance to still be able to come back and be the starter.
Yeah.
But because you get caught up in your feelings because they didn't consult with you first, that Russ is coming in.
Yeah.
That may not have been the best decision.
I didn't think about it.
Do you see where I'm coming from that way?
Yeah, no, I didn't think about it that way.
Trade me so I can go to a team to really be the backup.
Yeah.
With no chance. At least with Russ, it's kind of like okay, yes, I did not play well since I've come into the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to bring Russ in. I get to work with Russ. Russ is on a 1-year deal. We have a tough schedule.
Deal. I'm sorry.
A 1-year deal.
1-year
where you don't have, he doesn't even have any guarantees. He's only getting $1.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
Russ comes in. I kick back. I try to be a model citizen. I study. I improve on the off season.
Yeah.
There's a really good chance that I get a chance to come back in and be the starter after they get to see what Russ is doing. But he takes the approach of, nope.
Yeah,
I want to leave.
It kind of seems like Pickett threw like a temper tantrum and was like, I wasn't consulted first. I know that this guy's only going to be here for a year, but I'm not going to like be replaced in my job, so I'm just going to go somewhere else. And
you haven't played at the level to be consulted. Mm-hmm. You understand? If someone, let's just say, like when the Cowboys picked up Trey Lance, the Cowboys went to Dak Prescott and said, hey, we got an opportunity to bring in Trey Lance, add some depth to the position. You haven't played at that level. Right. It's kind of like, listen, we brought in competition. Mm-hmm. He's in the pole position because he's a possible future Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. But you're going to get a chance.
Right.
They didn't say, deuces, Pickett, we're out of here.
Yeah.
I kind of think Pickett was already in his feelings. And yes, I said in his feelings because a lot of the players on the team, the reason why he's happy to be gone is because other players on the team was like, yo, we don't even want him. We want Mason Rudolph we want you to bring back Mason Rudolph. Mm-hmm. So even in your own locker room, people were already saying Mason Rudolph. Then Russell Wilson came in and he wants out. So for the Pittsburgh Steelers looking at this and saying, hey, we shipped up Mason Rudolph's contract is gone. Everyone wanted him. Kenny Pickett just asked to be traded. So we shipped him over to Philadelphia and we come back with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. That is called an upgrade. That is an upgrade for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a better team today than they were last year.
Yeah.
And, I think Kenny Pickett going in and asking to be traded may not. I don't think that's a smart move. I definitely don't think it's a smart move.
Yeah, I was about to say it doesn't seem like a smart move on his part at all.
If you are looking around and you're saying, like, what is best for my future? Mm-hmm. The Philadelphia Eagles are locked in at quarterback. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields, they've given him the contract. Justin Fields is their future guy. Mm-hmm. the Steelers did not have a future guy. You have a chance to compete. Just because you played, the fact is, if you're going to be upset about the fact that you weren't consulted that they're bringing in Russ,
right?
Look, this shows me a mentality difference, where it's a mentality difference of entitlement. You know what I mean? You understand where I see the entitlement?
Like, Justin Fields is like so excited to work with Russell Wilson, and Kenny Pickett is just like, well, nobody asked me if it was okay, so.
This should have been a wake-up call. Listen, okay, they brought in Russ. They're making him the starter. I'm coming in with an attitude. I'm taking my job back.
Yeah.
This is in my eyes, this is an open competition. Where I'm going to show that I'm improving. I'm a Pittsburgh guy. He went to the University of Pittsburgh. He's at Pittsburgh. It's an opportunity to really showcase and come back with an attitude. Instead, he took the approach of ship me out of here. Yeah. I'm ready to go to another organization to start my career. But now he's a backup, and I don't see anyone other than Pittsburgh right now looking at him as their future franchise quarterback. And so I think this was a bad decision on his part. I think he should have taken it and been like, you know what, I want to stay in Pittsburgh and I want to improve.
Right.
That's the attitude he should have taken, in my opinion.
Prove or try to prove that you're just as good or better than Russell Wilson. You're competing for the head quarterback position, starting quarterback.
That's what I mean. He took a situation where, yes, was he demoted? Absolutely. But he took a position where, hey, this guy that's coming in, he has the pole position. That's what the coaching staff told him, that Russ has the pole position. But he did not say, Russ is our starter for the year. Right. You're our backup. Meaning, pole position, we're leaning toward Russ, but it's going to be a competition. And he decided, I'd rather go somewhere else where no one is going to tell him, hey, you get to compete for the Philadelphia Eagles job. No, you don't. You get to compete to see if you're going to be the backup. Yeah. That's what he's competing for, to be the backup, where he was competing to be a starter. I don't think it was a good move on his part. No. I think if they'd have taken a step back, I think this is not a good move for him. It's a great move. I think it's a great move for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that is, hey, you just added depth at a position so that if for some reason
something happens,
Jalen Hurts goes down. Couldn't think of Jalen Hurts for a quick second. If Jalen Hurts goes down, you have a B-level quarterback. I'm not going to say he's an A-level quarterback. He's not a guy that I would want as my franchise quarterback, but I would definitely want him as my backup quarterback. You brought in a quality backup quarterback. And that's what I kind of look at him as. I personally thought Mason Rudolph was a better quarterback than him. And I think a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers, think about it. I know this for a fact, that a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers players campaigned for Mason Rudolph to come back, not Kenny Pickett.
And he's just pretty to look at, Mason Rudolph is.
Oh, hell no.
He's pretty to look at.
Okay, I'm just going to trust you on that one. I'm going to I'm sorry, my heart's not going a little pity pat for either one of them. I'm just going to let you know.
But I definitely, this was not a smart move on Kenny Pickett at all.
I don't believe it was. You understand you understand my take on this one?
Yeah, I understand.
it doesn't put it. I don't think it looks good. The guy that doesn't want to, he's upset that he has to compete. It shows a sense of entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the reason why he didn't play so well, because he's so used to things being given to him instead of taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going into this season. No, last year wasn't a great year for me.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a great start to my NFL career, but I'm going to improve and I'm going to show them that I am a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not going to get a chance to shine. How is he going to get a chance to shine where unless an injury happens, he literally gets to sit there. And you're taking he didn't want to take second team rep in training camp where he was going to compete for the starting position.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's going to take second and third team reps on a team that has absolutely no chance at all of starting for.
Yep.
Good job.
Good job. There was some shade thrown in that.
There was some spice on that good job.
Yeah,
that was not a true good job. I don't know. Sometimes you have to check your pride. You have to check your ego. Mm-hmm. And this is one that I don't think he did either.
Yeah.
Pride and ego is a lot goes behind that, which now the Pittsburgh Steelers are like, wow, we upgraded nicely.
I'm like, well,
when you think about it, we didn't waste any major draft capital, and we have a possible future Hall of Famer and a possible franchise quarterback all in our quarterback room. We've upgraded.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
you win some and you lose some.
So I think Kenny Pickett lost. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing Montreal man returns from vacation and gets a letter from Quebec government saying he's deceased. So make sure you guys stick around.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about Kenny Pickett and his move to the Eagles, and now we're going to be discussing a Montreal man who returns from vacation, gets a letter from Quebec government saying he's deceased. So, listen, I'm getting real good. I'm getting real good at finding good stories for the show. I'm boosting my ego up a little bit, okay?
Do you understand how good I am at this? Let me tell you.
I got that Kenny Pickett mentality right now.
That is awesome. Okay. Fire away, my dear. I'm looking forward to this.
So, a Montreal man returns from vacation and gets a letter from Quebec government saying he's deceased. After returning home from an extended vacation in Costa Rica, a Montreal man gets a surprise of a lifetime in the mail. The Quebec government thinks he's dead. In a 14-page letter from the Ministry of Justice, the government wrote that it is hoping to collect money from Nick Fatrou's, I think is what it is, estate for a speeding ticket. The problem is Nick is very much alive. I was laughing. I said, wow, that's news to me, he said in an interview at his home Thursday. The 34-year-old said he contested a speeding ticket from 2022 and then left for an extended vacation in Central America. Completely forgot about it, came back, and I got this letter. Nick said he was taken aback and is thankful his mother never saw it. Nick said, if she would have opened this and I was off on my travels, God forbid, she would say, what's going on? Nick says he tried to call the government to prove that he actually is alive, but wasn't able to speak to anyone. It's very hard to get through, he said. Sometimes it happens to have some mistakes like this, but it's really, really rare, said Nick's lawyer. Their last names are, I don't even want to try to.
Doozies.
They're doozies, yeah.
Okay.
So Nick's lawyer said Nick needs to declare that he's alive and quickly. It won't only affect this traffic ticket, it will affect all of his, successions and everything. Nick said he just wants to prove that he's not a dead man walking. My next step is to just figure this out and tell them, look, maybe it was a mistake, a typo, who knows. The Justice Ministry did not reply to the news interview requested by the publication that was set on Thursday. Shortly after 6 p.m., a ministry spokesperson said in an email that the mix-up was a case of human error. The collector of fines mistakenly used a letter template used to correspond with an estate rather than the one normally used to communicate with the defendant. We apologize for the situation. An appropriate follow-up will be made with the citizen.
All right. So give me your go ahead, lead off.
Can you imagine going on a lovely extended vacation in Costa Rica? You're having a great time, you're getting some sun, you're doing hikes and I'm sure, zip lines and all that good stuff. And then you come home and you have to basically reset everything from this long vacation to get back to real life. And you're going through your mail and stuff like that, and you see this letter and you open it up and it has declared that you're dead. It's like, I'm alive and well. I mean, unless I feel like for a minute I would have like a real Truman Show situation going on in my mind.
Go ahead. I'm filming.
Or no, not Truman Show. Sixth Sense, a real Sixth Sense situation where I'd be like, oh my God, am I actually alive or am I really dead?
So you're questioning your own,
my own existence for a second. Yeah, I would. I'd be like, wait a minute.
Are you looking to find the body then, or are you like?
I would call everybody I know and be like, hey, you can hear me, right? Can you come over and make sure that you can see me? Can you confirm that I'm alive and well?
I kind of find it funny because in my head, it's kind of funny. You went with the television shows in your head.
Yeah.
I went with the television shows in my head. Instantly, I started thinking about some of these spy movies and the guy finds that they think he's dead and it changes all the stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you could actually disappear on this one. You got the documentation already there. Swing by, pick up the life insurance check, talk to one of your buddies. Leo, man, I got a nice little life insurance policy here. Give me 95%. I'll give you 5%, and I'm taking off. So that's what popped in my head is starting to think about all those television movies where they think the guy's dead, but he's actually somewhere else.
Oh, so you would take it as an opportunity to go off the grid, basically. That's what you.
I'm just saying you could do that. At that point, it's but the consequence. There's consequences for that. No, do
I'm
not do that.
I'm pretty sure that's fraud, so don't do that.
Yeah, do not go that route.
Don't
but
listen.
It didn't. No, I'm not telling you. It's
Tate
time
likes
for
to
you to
get
go
y'all
get
in
that
trouble.
money. Is to go get that money in the Caymans now. It's not time to go to the Caymans bank account yet. No. Faith has this whole thing that she has this whole thoughts that I have this private account in the Caymans, and I'm just waiting for this kind of a moment to disappear.
You're laundering your money. That's what Cayman accounts are for.
No, they're not. You've been watching too many bad programs.
Anybody, you never saw Breaking Bad? Hello?
I'm the only person in America that did not like Breaking Bad. We'll bring that back up again.
What?
Did not like it.
I love that show.
We're gonna go. We're gonna bring that. We're gonna bring back to the. Let's talk about this one first, and then we're going back to Breaking Bad. You know, this could be a bad situation because the fact is, he's not. He has to get a lawyer. Mm-hmm. The longer this goes on, the worse it gets. Benefits. And what country was this in?
So he was declared dead in Montreal, so Canada.
So in Canada. Mm-hmm. So that takes him out of the universal health care, takes him out of a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. And then having to prove like, hey, I'm alive, that can be serious. That could be a serious problem, especially in like Europe or in Canada, where all of a sudden, sorry, you can't get any more health care, or you can't get this and that. And if Canada's anything like Portugal, the bureaucracy is nuts. That's the one thing I do like about the US. Things are very streamlined, let's say. And if it's anything like Europe, man, you gotta, once you get in the system, getting out of the system is hard. And so getting a lawyer, getting everything to get taken care of, I want some like some death pay, because I need to cover my lawyer's
some
expenses.
Severance.
Yes, I need some severance for not being on this earth any longer. So I can totally see that. But if I could. What also popped in my head is like Costa Rica is actually pretty awesome.
It is. It's nice. I've been.
Oh, so what part? See, I've been to Costa Rica a bunch of times. I don't remember. People tend to like the East Coast better than the West. I'm more of a West Coast and that Liberia area.
I don't remember. It was on a cruise. It was one of my ports on a cruise ship, so I don't remember what part.
Everyone considers it like Hawaii, but way more laid back. I even thought about moving to Costa Rica for a brief second instead of Portugal. Both are amazing countries to live in. I always feel a little weird in Costa Rica. Like every time I go to Costa Rica, I'm like, I could live here. It's just the people are amazing. Everything is beautiful. But I always feel like some rebels are going to come through and like take over the country. I'm stranded in South America and Latin America somewhere trying to get out. I don't feel that way in Portugal. I feel, Portugal's part of NATO, you're easy access to the US. I just feel it doesn't feel so second, third world to me, even though both countries are two of my favorite countries in the world. Now, quick change. You were talking about your Breaking Bad comments. I am the only person. Everyone loves Breaking Bad.
I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was stupid, but
I have no clue what the ending.
Well, I don't want to be that person, so.
Okay, people told me, "Oh, Breaking Bad, best series ever," and so I watched the entire first season. It's like, no. You got to get through the first two seasons.
You got to get into it.
And so I watched the second season. So I watched 2 seasons of it, and they're like, now it's going to get good. Listen, if it's taken me 2 years to get to the good part, I don't want that show.
Background of everything.
I don't want anything that's going to take me 2 years. Like,
they do really good character development. You got to get through all of that beginning character development, and then
if it takes me really 2 years to develop the characters on any show, I'm out. I am out. I am sorry. If I can't figure out the show, and if I'm not into the show in 2 years, we need to see other people. I don't care. Even a girl. if I meet a girl, I'm a single guy, and you go on a date with her, and it's like, man, I'm not really feeling this, and she tells me like, just give me 2 years. After that, you're gonna love me. You're gonna be so in love with me.
I think that's a little bit different.
2026. You're gonna love me in 2026. Oh, hell no.
I don't think that's the same thing.
You're gonna fall madly in love with me in 2026. Well, that's the way I feel about Breaking Bad. If I gotta wait 2 years before I love it.
See, I didn't watch Breaking Bad when like it was coming out. Like I recently watched Breaking Bad. I streamed it on Netflix during my winter break, and I watched all, I think it was 6 seasons, all 6 seasons in like a month. Because I'm a binge watcher.
I am a total binge watcher. I am the same way.
Once I start a show, I have to finish it. So that's why, like, during the school semester, I don't watch any shows that I'm really interested in, because I know if I start them, I'm not going to be able to do anything else until I finish it. So. That's
the reason why, like, it was easy for me to cord cut and do away with cable television. Is because I don't like any of those shows that I watch a show and then I gotta wait a week. I don't even like the shows. They're doing
it now though with streaming, because
and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Because
I was watching a docu-series that came out on Max about some things that went down on the Nickelodeon set, and I'll just leave it at that. But I was watching it, and there were only 2 episodes released. And I was like,
that's dumb.
I'm paying for a streaming service to stream. Why do I have to wait a week for the next episode?
As a matter of fact, there's been a couple of shows that I started, and I'm like, oh, this would be awesome. And then it's like, I watched 3 episodes, and then you got to wait a couple weeks for the next 3 to come out or something like that. And I'm like, me and this show need to see other people again. I'm quick. Nope. I'll come back to you when I run out of things to stream 5 years from now. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember this show, but I'm not waiting. Yeah.
That's with a lot of the shows that I like Love is Blind, that just finished up, but like I had to wait a week for like maybe 2-3 episodes, and then I have to wait another week. So
I'll just drop a show and be like, move on. I'll remember it a couple years from now and be like, man, I can't find anything to watch, and then it'll be like, I'll go and look, and like all of them are there.
I'll obsess over it because my TikTok feed will have stuff from those shows. And so I'm like, well, I have to watch the next episode immediately when it comes out, or I'm going to get spoilers on TikTok. So I have to remember to watch them when they come out. So, because I don't want the show spoiled. Anyway, sorry to that guy. We went way off the deep end. Sorry to the guy.
We covered that, but we covered some of our own stuff in here too.
Sorry to the guy who the Canadian government thought he was dead. I hope that works out for you. You know, that you get everything squared away.
Go to the Caymans, get your money out of your Cayman bank account. Go travel Asia and Africa, and don't let anybody know. And then just show up 10 years later and be like, surprise.
Don't do that.
No. As long as you see, this is not one of those bad stories. The bad stories are when people find out and it's like they're dead. People are dead. Ooh, here's a story. Everyone calls me Tate, and we used to have a really good buddy of ours, and his name was Tig. And Tig was a great guy, and his nickname is Tig. And he passed. Yes, and he passed. He was a great guy. And I've been doing a lot of traveling and things. And it was a party. I go to my buddy's party, and I show up, and this guy drops a glass of wine right on the floor. And it's like, and he runs over, and he grabs me and tackles me. And he's like, I thought you were dead. And I swear to God, this is a true story. It just made me think of this. And he punches me a couple of times. And he's like, I cried over you. True story. And he turns to our buddy Preston, and he's like, and the dude's like, no, not Tate, dumbass. He's like, no, Tate passed. He's like, oh, I thought you were saying that Tate passed. And so he actually, so could you imagine going to a party and I walk in and it's like,
everybody see a ghost.
What's up, homie? And it's like, whoa.
Back from the dead.
So that has happened to me once. He was the only guy that thought, he's like, he literally thought like I had passed. And so that was kind of a funny situation. That happened about 5 years ago that happened. Just made me think of that as well.
That's crazy. So. All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into our oddities of the day. So make sure you stick around. I don't know why I said it like that.
It's good. I like it. Stick around, fools.
All righty, we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier we were talking about a Montreal man returns from vacation and gets a letter from the Quebec government saying that he's deceased. And now, as always, at the end of the show, we're going to dive into our oddities of the day. I got a Waffle House story for you.
Oh, it's on. That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. Wait a minute. Give me a second here. Let me get ready. All right, you didn't. That's all you had to say. I get the game face on for that Waffle House. It's on.
Okay, so a woman was accused of impersonating an FBI agent attempting to close down a Waffle House. An East Tennessee woman claimed to be an FBI agent and attempted to close down a Waffle House because its workers allegedly sold drugs from the back door of the restaurant, authorities said. Kimberly Michelle Gonzalez, 60, of Madisonville, was charged with criminal impersonation, according to Monroe County online court records. Madisonville police officer Andy Klein said he went to the restaurant on US 411 in Madisonville shortly after 8 a.m. Eastern Time on February 11th. The officer said he was told by an employee of the restaurant that a woman was inside claiming to be an FBI agent. The woman allegedly said that she had come to the Waffle House to shut down the restaurant because drugs were being sold in the rear of the business, according to the newspaper. The employee allegedly said that she asked Gonzalez to produce some identification, and the woman showed her a brown notebook with a Tennessee badge on it. When the employee pressed Gonzalez to produce a real badge, the woman allegedly refused. When Klein interviewed Gonzalez, she allegedly repeated the story that she worked for the FBI. Klein said he spoke with another witness who confirmed that Gonzalez claimed to be a federal agent. Gonzalez was arrested and booked in the Monroe County Jail and was with bail set at $1,000 during an arraignment on February 12th, online court records show. I looked up, I haven't seen anything updating the story, but about a couple days after she was arrested, the jail records indicated that she was no longer in custody. So, as we know, she's out of jail.
Okay. First off, did they ever confirm that this place was selling drugs? Is it like,
I don't know.
come
What
for
do
the
you
pancakes, stay for the meth?
I'm sorry. You can't have you cannot have high expectations with Waffle House. That was your first mistake. You can't have high expectations when it comes to Waffle House. I don't want to speak on all Waffle Houses, but I'm sure there are plenty of Waffle Houses in this country that are doing some business they don't need to do.
I actually got in a fight at a Waffle House once.
Did you? Oh
True story. True story. I got in a fight.
I don't want to
Raleigh, North Carolina Waffle House.
See, I don't want to get in a fight at Waffle House, but I do want to witness.
No, I got in a fight with employees at a Waffle House in Raleigh, North Carolina. This was my college days, but yes, I did. I've actually gotten into a scrap at. So I'm not proud of that. But
an employee.
Oh yes, it dealt
That's
with
low.
it dealt with someone not liking my tan. Let's just say.
Okay, that's understandable.
So things got a little heated,
Mm-hmm.
and so I am actually part of the Waffle House experience, let's just say.
Oh.
So, and I'm not a violent guy at all, but yes, I did get into it at a Waffle House back in the 90s. Let's just in North Carolina. True story. Okay. This lady, what was she trying to?
I don't know.
She was trying to be I don't know, Cindy Crime Stopper. I don't know what she was trying to do.
I don't know.
Okay. First off, you show up and you're trying to shut down, not hey, I'm trying to find information. She's trying to shut down an entire organization.
Yeah.
That was your first thing. I'm starting to think that maybe
mistake.
Maybe Becky was not of sound mind.
Mm.
Maybe the same drug she was trying to shut down, she had partaketh.
First mistake, trying to shut down a Waffle House. Waffle House never shuts down. If Waffle House is shut down, know that the world is coming to an end.
Hurricanes and tornadoes don't shut down Waffle House, lady.
Waffle House will always be open. And if you see Waffle House shut down, you better grab the wife, kids, some money, and some clothes and get the hell out.
If the Waffle House is shut down, look for Noah's Ark. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the first problem.
Yeah.
So the fact that that shows a level of unstableness that is already going on with this lady.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is to go into your book bag and grab a folder and just have a little cross-stitch stencil, FBI.
FBI.
And it's like Inspector Hines 57 over here. I'm here to shut this place down. Come on. That's the first thing. And then, you got sometimes the fact that she stuck with the lie, I got to give her credit for this one.
Yeah.
She rolled this sucker out. When the police showed up and started asking questions.
She's like, I'm an FBI agent. What are you talking about?
Okay. This is that whole method acting that you done went too far with. When the cops showed up, they're like,
due diligence citizens.
Yes. Like, listen, officer, I believe there's things going on at this Waffle House. And so I was just trying to get information, but I'm not an FBI agent. The fact that you're trying to convince the police that you're an FBI agent as well shows a level of
commitment.
Unstableness. No, unstableness.
She's committed.
I don't know if that's commitment or she should be committed. There's a difference between.
Yeah.
You understand the difference between commitment and should be committed? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I look at when I look at this lady here. When the police started asking her questions, she should have been like, she was already at a Waffle House, so no one would have thought different if she'd have just turned around and just started running. That would have just been Tuesday at Waffle House. But the fact that she stayed and started having a conversation and then refused to answer the questions, there was problems there. I'm giving her not guilty reason of insanity.
Lights are on, but no one is home.
Did she? So she did get arrested, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did she get charged or did they let her go? Do you know? I'm
not sure if she got charged. But she was arrested. Oh, it said booked, so I would say yes, she got charged, right? If you're booked.
She was booked. Hopefully, I think this would be, this is my own speculation. I think they took her in, realized that, she was 2 or 3 beers short of a 6-pack, and they let her go. That's what I think. I don't know if she's all there. And because who goes to a Waffle, any organization, any establishment and be like, you know what? I'm shutting this place down. Mm. There's a difference between I'm going out and getting a petition and I'm getting the community together to shut this place down. But for one person to show up and say, I'm with the FBI, who's going to do what organization is going to fall for that? That shows a level of not all the way there, and right or wrong.
Trying to convince the police that you're also an FBI agent. Do you not understand that police have access to things that most public citizens don't?
This is an easy check. The fact that you're going to try to keep the lie going and try to talk to them can you show me some identification? And you pull out your Dora Explorer note tablet and try to show her your Dora Explorer note tablet is maybe not the best decision.
No.
I'm convinced. I'm hoping that this lady maybe not the most stable. Mm-hmm. When you're talking Waffle, the fact, and how does she know? I still haven't seen any evidence that the Waffle House is doing anything but doing Waffle House things.
I looked it up. I didn't see anything about them allegedly selling drugs. So
yeah, I think she decided she was watching an episode of Crime Stoppers and just believed in her head.
She wanted to be like one of those girls on Criminal Minds for the day.
Criminal Officer Mind, JK. Broken mind, twisted mind. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't think there's much, there's not much of a story there because I just think there's some questions. By the way, though, Faith, I was looking at one of the posts, and someone, what were they saying about you?
Uh-oh.
What? It was a person. They said she is the sports next big thing. Were they talking about you on one of your shorts?
I don't think so. I was covering.
Or were they talking about Sister Faith? as the next big thing.
I believe they were discussing the female athlete that I was talking about. I think that's what they were talking about.
So they weren't talking.
I don't
about
think they
you,
were
are
talking about me. No, I don't think so.
You
I mean,
sure?
unless if that's what you were doing, thank you.
They've been getting some fan mail up in here lately. People been sending some comments about Sister Faith lately. And so look at her, she's smiling, she's turning a little red over here, but
I appreciate it.
And see, I got a problem with that. That's where I have a problem. Because it's this and you do that.
I'm a Gen Z.
And that's the difference between ages right there. And you know what I'm mad about?
I do this one too.
I'm mad about that is a better one than what we were doing. That actually looks like a heart. Y'all just took what we did and just kind of improved it. That looks like you got hit in the head and had a little medical incident. You need treatment. That's what that one looks like.
All right.
I'm sorry, Faith. So that's
Tate's
what we're
always so
end.
nice to me.
We're gonna end this on love, okay? Mine don't look that right. Mine, I don't know what mine look like.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show presented by GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content updates. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.